Hey everyone, Set 2 is coming out in just about a week, and I wanted to make an example deck list for every class. So, in this video, I'm going to be showing you sort of a example list, right? It's not going to be completely optimized or anything. It's just something to put together week one and maybe, win a locals or, get a little, make some noise, in the first week, 2 weeks, until we really figure out how people are going to play this set and stuff. But I have a deck made for every class, and I think they're going to be able to come out and get some wins, I think, for sure. So I'm going to be talking about them. I'll also kind of talk about some cards that I like that you could replace or put in or try to, fit in. And again, personally, I think I've talked about this in a few videos. I like 3-ofs of like every card. I'm not a big fan of 2-ofs or 1-ofs. Obviously you have to have a couple 1-ofs or 2-ofs in the deck just because it's a 40-card deck. But obviously you do you. This is just like a helper to see what the good cards are and what cards you want to maybe think about getting and putting into your deck. So, okay, here we go. Forest. Forest is definitely a class I think is actually kind of interesting this set. I don't know if it'll be the best. It's definitely one I plan on testing a little bit because I think it has a lot of interesting new cards. It can put a lot of stats on the board if you build it correctly. And I think it's one of those decks where if you play well and you understand the deck, you can play it as a control type deck or a fill the board, pressure the opponent deck. And I really like that. So obviously, I think I'll just go over some of the new cards and then kind of go over the older cards that we might be playing because of the new cards. So Lily is the new bouncer. As you can see, I don't have Rose Gardener in here. I think EPM is better than Rose Gardener, Elven Princess Mage in this deck. And the Evolved deck is a little tight for this list actually for Forest. But anyway, Lily, she checks the top 2 of your deck and puts a Pixie. I believe it's Pixie, right? Yeah, Pixie or Crystalia follower. So that will hit you. Herself, I believe it says herself, right? Yes. So herself, Tia, Water Fairy, and Arya. Is there any? Yeah. So that's 12 cards. That has to be followers, so it doesn't hit circle or anything. Unfortunately, but that's 12 cards to hit. I think that's actually really nice. It's not the reason you're playing her though. The reason you're playing her is because of her evolve effect, which puts a enemy follower on the field into the bottom of the opponent's deck, which is a really strong ability. This is your Leonidas disruption, and also just disruption with a lot of cards in general. I think this card is very strong. It doesn't evolve into fully stats, but 2/4 for 4 that bounces something, I think that's pretty good. It also could draw you a card. You have 12 hits in here. That's why we're playing the Water Fairy. I'm not too big of a fan of Water Fairy. I think I'd rather play Bellringer Angel. But it's something that I'd want to test out in terms of is having another 3 things to hit from Lily important enough to play Water Fairy. But anyway, then Tia. Tia is your big stat builder. So she, if you play 2 cards before her, she summons a 4/4. And then on Evolve, she gets +1/+1. She doesn't get full Evo stats. And she gives the Eve, which is the token you summon, Rush and +1/+1. So this is 7/7 worth of stats after Evolve. That's really nice. And also you have to play cards beforehand, so you're building a board and stuff. This card is really strong. I think this is one of those, like, Forest kind of low-key has a lot of stats they could just throw on the board, similar to Sword. And then, of course, the reason I think their early game is really strong is because of Archer. Archer's not a new card, but, 2 mana, 1/4, every time a new thing comes onto the board, or every time a follower comes on the board on your side, you hit something for 1. This thing is so insane. This thing locks down the early game for you. And then the only other new card... Oh, yeah, no, that's it in this deck. Yeah, that's it in this deck. The other new card I did want to talk about was Liza. I think Liza is an extremely strong card. So Liza, she... Can I just, like, open this, this card in here? Sorry, this is a... let's see, because I just want it to be big and show you. Yes, here we go. So Liza... while this card is on the field, followers on your field take 1 less damage from spells and effects. I think this thing is insanely strong. After this is placed down, the only real things that kill it out of hand is banishes. So that's Blackened Scripture and Evo Cudgel. Early game, obviously. Late game, you're going to have a lot of, higher damage effects and stuff. But if you get, like, either 2 of these down, or if you're just able to develop this early, because this is a fully statted fighter. This is a fighter with a really, really insane ability. I really like this card. I think this completely shuts down a lot of power cards in the format, like John. I think this completely, negates John's, like, usefulness, especially if you get 2. They can't even kill it, And again, this is kind of like Archer, where you kind of probably want to keep it standing. But obviously you can get in for some damage. I just think this card is really strong, and it's definitely a card that I'm going to be testing. I think every other card in here is pretty bad. I think Rose Deer is actually really strong, but not... I don't think it has enough support to play... Like, Forest doesn't have enough support to play full control deck yet, I feel like. But yeah. So that's Forest. But this is mostly just a normal Forest list, I'd say. I guess Titania is, people don't run Titania, but I would probably cut Titania for Liza, is what I would do with this list. And then probably cut Waterfare for Bellringer. But, hopefully this, list maybe gave you some ideas or could help you. I could definitely also see just like a full, like, Silverbolt build. I don't think that would be too good, but you cut like some of this other stuff. You could definitely cut EPM, or I don't know. I love EPM. I think this card is so good. I think this is 1 less stat Floral Fencer, and that has upside because you can hold the 0 cost things and have a better turn next turn with TR or whatever, But anyway, yeah, Forest. Pretty interesting class. Next class is that's Liza. Next class is Sword, of course. Again, these are example decks, so this is not, I know a lot of Sword players like to play 2-ofs and 1-ofs and stuff. But this is, I think, what you probably want to be trying to run. So Veteran Lancer, I put in here. This is not a new card, but I put in here instead of Latham because I do think aggro is going to be a problem for this deck, like Aggro Abyss. So playing this, I even really like, I really like Silver Paladin, White Paladin, sorry. White Paladin, it's a 3-mana, 3/4 ward. So that's fully statted ward, and then you can pay 2 and act it to get 2 1/1 wards. So this is a really insane card after Leo. It's 6/7, and then 2 4/4s for 5 after Leo if you're playing against like a aggressive deck. But of course, if you're playing against an aggressive deck, by the time you get to Leo, you probably either won or lost the game. I think that is one of the flaws of this deck, is it is just kind of similar to Set 1 Sword until 6 on 7 with Leonidas and stuff, but it can get a little scary, a little dicey against an aggressive deck. I think the other flaw, I'm talking about the flaws, I still think it's one of the best decks in the format, but I really would love to try to fit in another 1-drop in here, like a Ninja Trainee, because I feel like 1 is so important for this deck to set, the tempo in the game and everything, but a lot of your 1-drops have a lot of use that you want to hold anyway, and like the best 1-drop on 1 is like Swordsman. He's just a 1-health dude. Like, and he's only 3. Like, all these other 1-drops feel really, really weak on turn 1. Especially going second. And then added on to the fact that you only have 3 2-drops. is a little scary, but I would probably, and then the other thing is, I know I haven't talked about the new cards yet, but Unbridled Fury is a card I've been testing. I'm not too big of a fan of it, but it is the only way, besides Aurelia fully, with the buff, and those two are the only way to kill, what's my man's name? The 4-mana 6/5 for Soul Dealer. And I think that's a very scary card for Sword. But yeah, I think it's going to be strong. It's going to be Sword. You're going to be able to curve out. The new cards, of course, are Leonidas, which we talked about. Leo's a very important card. You should definitely read and learn this card. When he evos, he deals 5 to himself and 5 to another follower. And then he, when he dies, he gets a amulet on the field that gives every Sword card +3/+3 in Rush. So basically, most times you want to try to suicide him in. So there's a lot of, you can play around that. That's one of the reasons I actually kind of like Forest is, so say you're going first, you play Arya on 6. They can't really play Leo Evo on that turn because they pop Arya. They can't swing into your fairies and kill it, and the next turn you can bounce it or whatever. Obviously, they can play Alex, which is the other really good Sword card this set. Alex is a 6-mana 5/9 that can basically just clear the board. He can attack as many times as he wants, as long as he's attacking into a follower, and he has a sail, and he restands himself. So if he clears the board and he doesn't die, he is standing, so you can't swing into him. Very strong card. And of course the last new card, Albert is 4-mana 3/5 Storm. I'm actually not that big of a fan of this card. When I've been testing it, it just feels like bad Novice Trooper, honestly. It just feels... I mean, having more Storms is good, and it is just a 1-card combo after Leo to do 12 damage, but a lot of times it doesn't, actually come down to that, So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not too big of a fan of Albert. And then Amelia is a really strong card. 4-mana 3/3, deal 4. Like I said in my set review, I'm a boomer. This reminds me of Orthrus Jr. Hellhound, which was a super cracked card in Shadow, in the digital game. This card is very similar to it. I think this card is really good. Sword is going to be good. I think there's going to be a lot of different builds for it. As you can see, I'm not playing Avant Blader or some of the other stuff. I know a lot of people like Gunner Knight Saria. I always mess... Gunner Maid. I don't know why I make up names for this card. Anyway, Sword, pretty interesting. We'll see what it can do in NA. Next set, or next class, Dirt Rune. This is just very basic Dirt Rune with the new cards. I like Dirt Rune next set. I just don't... I think Dirt Rune's problem is always draw, and that it's very dependent on its draw order. It doesn't have, if you draw the wrong cards in the wrong order, you just get really screwed. And I think it's a pretty bad matchup into Haven, which I think is going to be a very relevant class next set. But yeah, so the new cards are just... Remy, which is a 3/3 that evolves for 1, and it summons a strike form, which is the 3/2 rush, and then Earthright, it gives it +2 attack. So this is what 9/6 worth of stats for 4. That's definitely the for 3 in an Evo. That's definitely the pattern with Earthright, is they put out a ton of overstated stuff. With the 4/6 ward, this thing, and then Pascal is basically a 4-mana 5/7, but obviously she has way more uses. She can quick activate herself and give something +2/+2 or -2/-2. Something on your field +2/+2 or something on their field -2/-2. Really awesome card. Witchbolt is the best Merlin Evo target now, unless you're killing them with Demonic Strike. So you probably want to play one of these in here. Obviously, this is not the optimized list. But yeah, Dirt is probably going to cook early on, and then I think later on it might fall off. But again, the English meta has definitely been weird and like, you know, it's pretty unpredictable. Just because I think that has to do with just how local dependent the game is, you know. But yeah, anyway, we talked about that recently. Okay. Oh, I guess the other thing I want to say is there is a funny thing you could do like with Daria, play Dirt, just all the good like Dirt followers, play Daria, Evo Daria, you know, make a huge board, yada yada. I don't think it's like that good. I think it's kind of gambling, but interesting. I kind of want to try it. Okay, next set or next deck, Dragon. This is just Dragon. It's just Dragon with 5 new cards. Dragon 5 new cards. I think this card is going to be interesting, and I definitely think it's worth trying, and probably will end up being the best. I just hate Dragon. I just hate playing Dragon. I hate playing against Dragon. But yeah, y'all Dragon mains will figure it out. I don't think if you're planning on playing Dragon, I don't think you need my help for an example deck. But if you like want to play Dragon and you didn't set one, I think this is a pretty good build. It's playing a lot of followers. You guys know I love Isla. I think Isla is one of the best cards in the game. I know a lot of people don't like Isla. And then you know, having 6 ramp in a deck like this, I think, is important. And then, you know, the new cards are just Olivia, because it's just a good neutral card that just does a lot of things for you, and you obviously are playing it on, like, turn 4. And then Baha, which is just the anti, like, sword tech, you know? Like, if you ramp twice, you can play this and Evo and kill amulets, because on its evolve, it kills amulets on sword. But yeah, I think we're also playing, like, Zerny, because I think she's really good against aggro. Pulling out a really big body early on is really good. Like being able to do a curve of like Bell, Shapeshifting Mage, or just like remove something like with, you know, with your spells or something. And then like Isla, Dragon Warrior, Zerny, I think is really strong. Obviously, if you just do the classic Bell, Oracle, Dragon Guard, that's really good. Bell, like here's what you can do. Like here's the new curve: Bell, Oracle, Dragon Guard, Olivia taking Evo point, Evo Shenlong. Like, you know, like that is a really strong thing, you know. But yeah, Dragon things. Next set, or if I say set one more time, Aggro Abyss. Now this deck, I think, this is the deck I think I'm most interested in playing next set. I think it's going to be this, Sword, and Forest, I think, are the 3 classes I'm looking at. Obviously, this set I'm going to be doing a lot of testing and a lot of playing, because, you know, the regional is in December for me, and it's going to be set 2. So if you guys are in SoCal and you see me at some tournament, you should, or some local, you should come and say hello, because that would be cool. Or don't. But I mean, you should, you know. But if you don't want to, that's all good. I'll come and say hello to you, because I know you watched the video. But anyway, so we're playing 12 1-drops. I think 1-drops is super important. Bellringer is just a really good card in any deck. I think you definitely should be playing it. Mini Soul Devil, I think, after testing, I think it's a really good card, but just because it's like a aggressively statted 2-drop. I don't think you should tunnel vision the Evo a lot. Early on in testing, I've been doing that a lot, and it's a misplay, and I've been misplaying, like, going, oh, I gotta get the extra 2 damage from the Evo on Mini Soul Devil. You should honestly just play this like it's a 2-mana 3/2. The extra Evo is nice, but it's not something you should really be trying to do. Another thing I do want to pause is I think this deck is actually very difficult. I don't think this is a turn your brain off, you know, whatever type of deck, like I think a lot of people think aggro is. In this meta, going into this meta, I think there is a lot of plays that you can do to maximize your chances to win, and I think understanding that is really important. If I do continue playing this deck, I probably will try to make like a deck profile on it or try to, you know, discuss the deck, because this is the one that I'm planning on doing probably first. Maybe this or Sword. But I think there's a lot of plays and a lot of ways to build the deck, actually, that it's not just a turn your brain off, win the game. Even with the God hand, like, this deck does not have a lot of draw, so that's, like, one of the downsides. So anyway, then we played Trick Dullahan. Let me drink some water. The Pumpkin Man, sorry. The Pumpkin Man. So he's a 2-mana 3/2 like Soul Devil, and he puts a ghost into your EX area. This is really nice for Cerberus, like setting this up for like being able to later on Cerberus and take the tokens, and you have a Stormer in hand, you know, in EX area to take all the buffs and stuff. Is really nice. Vite is probably the best like 2-drop Evo now. I do like Lilith for the healing, but I think in this deck it's not worth it, or, you know. Vite, he's a 2-mana 2/2 Evo for 1. When you attack with him, he summons a 1/1 bat, and then on evolve he puts a 1/1 bat into your EX area. Then we have, of course, Playful Necromancer. This card is so insane. And then I guess that wasn't a new card, but new card, Soul Dealer, 4-mana 6/5. Then it can Evo for 2 and eat something and heal for that amount. This card is really strong. Really strong card. Really strong card. And then I'm playing Gilgamesh here. I really like Gilgamesh. I think you can play Alucard as well. I think Alucard is also a really strong card, especially if you're playing... there is a variant of the deck that I want to test kind of extensively that I was messing around with Azazel. And I think in the Azazel version, you probably play Alucard instead of Gilgamesh. The reason I'm playing Azazel is because against Haven, it's really hard to get the early damage in, but you can play to a game plan of, I'm just going to hold all my effect damage, hold all my stuff, turn 6 or 7 Evo Azazel, he gets put to 10, and then pop off. Obviously, against Haven, like, Haven's already a bad matchup anyway, probably. Again, this is early on in testing and stuff, but just maximizing the chances to do that is really nice. I think there is probably aggressive variant where you could play a bunch of, like, mill stuff, like Spartoy, the 3-mana 1/1, this one, let's see. This one, Bone Chimera, and play Azazel as a 4-mana 6/6. I think that's pretty interesting. It's like a aggressive, you know, deck. But yeah, overall, I think this deck is going to have a lot of variants. I think it's going to have a lot of versions. As you can see, this is not a Dark General version. I think Dark General, I'm not too big a fan of because you have to have 2 cards in your hand, and this deck really runs out of cards very fast. But yeah, last class, woo, we did it, is Haven. This is literally just like play every removal, Haven, play, oh, I didn't put the Amulet in, sorry. I didn't put Guardian Sun in. Guardian Sun should be in here somewhere. And then you play Seraph, or Aegis on 9, and then you Evo him and give him a ward, and you win the game, right? I'm very skeptical of this deck. I'm very skeptical of this deck, honestly. I'm actually very skeptical. I don't know. I don't know about this deck. But people are gonna try it. I think it'll be good. You know, it'll be used. You know, like it's one of those things where who cares if it's good or bad? If it's used a lot, it's gonna be in the meta. You know, kind of that sort of thing. And it is something you have to respect. You do have to respect the just over, like, just super large amount of removal. You probably want to fit in the Angel Shoot, Angelic Snipe into this deck somewhere. Because you want, like, early damage stuff. Like, if you go second, like, you know, and aggro goes, you know, Goblin, and then the 2-mana 3/2 or something, that's not going to be very good. But yeah, I mean, it's Haven. Yeah, I think It's going to be relevant. It's going to be used. It might be good. And yeah, so that's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I think that was a little rambly, but I think I got my point across, and I hope these, like, example decks, I'm just going to go through them while I talk. Example decks can help you maybe, you know, win a local, geez, can't find my words today, or something like that early on, and maybe just give you some ideas. Hey, maybe you're new to the game, and maybe you're just starting, and you, you know, want to play some specific class, and you need ideas for a deck. Hopefully, this helped you. Also, for some reason, this deck I didn't put an extra Evo. I think just choose one of these Evos and put an extra one in. Dragon, here's a dragon. Come on, Dragon mains. Can y'all switch? No, I'm joking. Yeah, y'all got to do what you got to win. You know, we got to do what we got to do to win. You know, Dragon is not my thing, but I definitely respect it. You know, same thing here. No, here I missed an Evo card. Hold on. Probably throwing Goblin maybe. Anyway, so some of these Evo decks have an empty slot for you to just, you know, flex slot. And then Haven. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys are excited for set 2. I know I am. If you have any questions or comments or whatever, or want to shit on these example decks, you know, that would be cool. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.